Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? I know the position of the webcam is kind of odd. You guys are not used to me see. Used to. Good Lord, I am butchering it
All
this
right, so we're
morning.
1-1 so far.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we're 1-1. So butchering it this morning, but yeah, you guys are not used to me seeing me at this type of angle. So this is gonna be just a one-on-one podcast with myself and my co-host Waluigi.
Good morning, everybody. Can't wait to just recap on what's been going on for the past few months.
Absolutely. So anyway, guys, this episode of the podcast is available on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, and I think that's it. Unless you guys find us on other platforms, by all means, let us know in the comment section below. Of course, video playback is always available on the platforms that it's currently being streamed on. That is Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And yeah, man, it's been a pretty good run
Yeah,
for 10 episodes, going in.
yeah, I'm definitely impressed. We got to thank you guys first for at least viewing us and getting to know us individually.
Yeah, like every 2 weeks we do the podcast, and we're always like, I always feel motivated to just wake up in the morning and just be like, all right, time to do the podcast. I got to make sure I got all the equipment, get the setup right, and then just, go ahead and just go with the flow. Usually at times, one of us either comes late, we set up late, or we go way beyond the start time. Like, I think the latest we started was like close to 10.
Yeah, that was me in Florida traffic.
But nonetheless, man, it's been a good ride, and later down the line, of course, you guys already know we're gonna have more guests coming on, and continue to talk about topics gaming related. We'll even dive into some anime related stuff and whatnot. Now, I will say that I have not been on my anime binge watching for the past 2 months now.
I'm on a 3 weeks at least. I was trying to build up for Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah, like I have not been watching any kind of anime because I've just been so busy. Busy with work, busy with helping smaller businesses out locally. Of course, Flynn's is one of them. Shout out to Flynn's Arcade, shout out to Eddie
Heck
and
yeah.
Will for allowing us to even do the podcast here in their place of business and
Yeah.
their place of establishment. So I am greatly appreciated
Definitely.
and honored to do the podcast here. So shout out to those two, and be sure to check them out and visit the arcade every once in a while.
Heck yeah, make sure you follow them on Instagram and their Discord. It's a lot of fun.
Exactly. So with that, like I remember back in, I would say like if I had to give like an origin story of the podcast, because like we started in March and now we're currently in August.
Yeah.
Like look at that time frame of just doing an episode, and each of the episodes have just gotten better and better, especially like hardware audio wise on our end, where there were some episodes that were the audio would be completely butchered or we would get something a little bit wrong here and there, but as people gave us feedback, we slowly improved and eventually we ended up getting better at it to the point where now it's just, hey, we already know what to do, set up, test everything, we're good to go.
Yep. Usually we just spray and pray when it comes to just running it sometimes when we first started. But now with practice, I'm definitely glad we have better audio and some video and the feedback. I definitely appreciate the feedback from a couple listeners as well.
Absolutely, because without you guys listening and or even watching and just giving us pointers or just saying, hey, so and so's audio's not high enough or it's too low enough, then of course we always make the changes. I don't know if you've ever got any emails from anyone or some audio engineers or podcasts or people that are in the podcast industry about ways of how they can improve the podcast, because I've received some emails and I'm just like,
Surprisingly, I haven't. I've just had regular listeners and some people in my last job never give me some tips.
okay. Because I've gotten emails from people that deal with podcast stuff, especially on the audio side of things. And I'm just like, I would be honored to have you come on, but one, I ain't got the cash. Like
That makes both of us.
if I'm gonna be dead honest, I don't have the cash. I would not be able to afford you. So that's one. I apologize for that. But the second thing is we're just new. We're just literally getting our feet wet into this industry and seeing how far we can go with it. So you got to give us that time to build and let us nurture ourselves, so that way once we do get to that level of professionalism, like podcast professionalism, then definitely we're going to
Heck
seek
yeah.
out for help to push out the podcast onto other platforms, to other people, ways to market it and grow it as well. But for the time being, we're new. We're just slowly learning things little by little, and we enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, we have fun doing this because we get to talk about games, we get to have guests on, and we get to know them a little bit more, which is something I greatly like a lot. It's just having that conversation with people, and we're just having a good time and just talking about games.
Definitely. The nostalgia trips are what I enjoy the most. When we have
Yes.
random games where we don't remember and then suddenly it just comes back in our mid conversation.
Yes, those be the best ones. I remember, there was so many guests that we've had
I think I might be able to remember.
that we've had like nostalgia trips of certain games. I remember having them with the Media Nut, Pyro Dude,
Oh,
Jake
yeah.
James, Virtual Suplex. Just having these nostalgia trips of just games that we played years ago, like N64 era, Super Nintendo era.
Yeah.
Like, good times, man. And just overall, just having that conversation with just people that have like the same hobbies and interests as you. I think that's one of the greatest things you can take away from this podcast, is that there is a community out there of people that you can reach out to, gamers, and just talk about games and grow a connection, grow a bond out of that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to get a friend or something that's relatable. But once you find a gamer, it just changes all over the place because it's a versatile community.
Definitely.
Even ranging from PS4 to Xbox, even PC. Mostly PC. And that's where everything just goes nuts.
Oh yeah. People, primarily game on PC. They don't want to game on consoles because I can understand the reasons. Why. But I'm gonna just say, like, when it comes to the retro consoles, it's like,
You can't go wrong.
yeah, you cannot go wrong. You just can't. You can't.
Not even an emulator, but still.
Yeah, like they will make excuses. Oh, I can just run emulators off my PC. True, I can do the same thing as well on my end. I can run emulators off of my laptop, but it's not the same holding an N64 controller in your hand or Super Nintendo controller in your hand, and you're just playing the game off of the original system on an actual throwback CRT TV. Like,
Yes.
it's a completely different feeling, way different than just playing an emulator on a computer or tablet or whatnot. Which reminds me, do they still even release emulators now? Because I know Nintendo has been very, very strict when it comes
Honestly, I think it might have died down for all I know. It might have, because there's still some websites here and there.
Yeah, because I remember years ago when I was on my emulator and ROM downloading spree, like, good times. I would just download all the Pokemon games that I've never gotten to play. It was Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald,
Ah, I love those.
Fire Red, Leaf Green, the Kirby games.
Dude,
the
I just
Super
had a mini
Mario
nostalgia
games.
trip. Mostly because Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, those are the latest of the Pokemon Ruby, or like remasters. They're the only ones that don't have gambling. Because I used to do slot machines all the time. I used to run the slot machines seeing if I can get the lucky 7. And I think that's where my mini gambling addiction ever came from video games.
Oh man, like I just remember just getting a bunch of games that I never got to play on the Super Nintendo, the mainly the N64.
Yes.
I got a lot of emulators and ROMs just for the N64 because there was a lot of games that I missed out on when I was growing up because your buddy stayed far away and you couldn't just swap games. And even the games that you had, like I remember only having 3 games, no 4. It was Super Mario 64, Mario Kart, Super Mario 64, Mario Kart,
Nice.
Super Smash Brothers, and I think Mario Party. Those were the only games that I remember owning for just the N64. While all my other friends, they would have all these other games. They were like, "Yo, you had this game? Yo, let me borrow it. I can let you." Like, who remember? And that's another thing.
Yep.
We don't trade games with each
Yep.
other anymore. Like, yo, yeah, you want to borrow this game? All right, yeah. And you guys would swap games with each other. We don't even do that anymore.
Nobody does.
As we've gotten older. Jacob said Star Fox. Yes, Star Fox was another game that we also owned as well.
What did I have? When I went thrift shopping 3 years ago and I found my N64 for $10 and modified it, or at least fixed it, I have Super Mario 64, Mario Golf, which was kind of a disgrace.
I never played Mario Golf.
It is difficult when you don't know the controls at all. I still keep it, but I have Space Invaders because I got it at the thrift store for like $2. I was a lucky finder at certain places.
Man.
Oh, and I have Ocarina of Time.
Oh my, yes, I remember having that game too. Wow, there's a lot of games that I'm completely forgetting that I used to own. But I did have.
I used to work out Sorry Esteem where it just goes like do 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 do. I used to just lift to that for no reason.
Yeah, man, like that was a thing back in the days where when you didn't have to worry about like online stuff, like game trading, like you would just swap games with your buddies and whatnot. Be like, okay, you would play this game, and I'll let you play that game.
Now it's just straight up game share, if it's an option.
Yeah.
Or disc if someone downloads it.
Jacob says in the chat, "No Mercy" and Majora's Mask. Yes, we did own those games as well. We did own those games as well.
I couldn't find it.
I'm forgetting.
I couldn't find it. I need to find it now.
Yeah. And speaking of throwback games and retro consoles, for those that do visit Flynn's Arcade, there's another small business that's really close by, like literally just walk distance. It's like right over there.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's in the same plaza as Flynn's. It's called Way Back When. I was there yesterday, and for those who follow me on Facebook, I posted a little video of me actually going to the store. They have a lot of retro consoles. I saw.
I'm sorry, what? They do?
Yes, retro console, like a lot of N64s. Like they even have the Virtual Boy. The old school Virtual
my
Boy.
God.
Yeah.
I've only heard about it. Well, I know about it, but still, I never got a chance to play it.
They also have the fat Nintendo Game Boys, the one with the 4 batteries. They have the Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color. They even have the Game Boy camera.
Get the heck out.
I'm so serious. Like you have to go there and see it for yourself. Like they have like a lot of retro stuff.
The only mod I've ever seen existing when I was a kid in New York was like Game Boy Advance with the lights. With the little lights you can just play.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the things I've had that my parents got me.
Yeah, I remember owning Game Boys myself as well. And so like me and my brother, like I think we've owned every Game Boy except. No, we've owned every Game Boy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I had a color. I lost it in school.
Even the forgettable Game Boy Micro.
Ooh.
Yeah. The forgettable Game Boy Micro.
I went from Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP. I think SP was the fat one. I'm not sure.
No, the Game Boy Advance SP was the one that folded.
Oh, that's what I had.
And it was the only Game Boy that had the light inside the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Like that was literally the best Game Boy out of all of them because it's like it took Nintendo so many tries to make the perfect Game Boy. Even though I like the Game Boy Advance.
Dude, you're gonna laugh at this. I just had a flashback because I found one at a thrift store for $10. Battery still ran. I couldn't find a charger and it still runs. I gave it to one of my pastors and he still hasn't. It works. It hasn't died yet.
Wow.
It's been 2 years and I gave him Tetris.
Wow. But yeah, like the Game Boy Advance SP, arguably the best Game Boy of all time.
It is.
Like You could play all your Game Boy games from the old school Game Boy up until the Game Boy Advance, and you didn't have to worry about getting batteries because it came with its own charger.
Yes.
Yes, and you had your own backup light. So it was literally all in one. Like Nintendo got it right with this one, and you can close it and just take it with you on the go.
I remember just playing Pokemon Sapphire and Ruby. I never got Emerald until I was older.
But yeah, man, like Game Boy Advance has to be best Game Boy arguably hands
Oh, hell
down.
yeah. 100% agree.
Like you cannot go wrong with that at all. You can't.
Like, I consider that like a top mini console, like handheld compared to
Yeah.
Nintendo DS.
Yeah. And then one with the Nintendo DS, it got fatter, but you know, you can still carry it in the pocket.
And the
It was
touchscreen was just unique.
And then you also had other variations of it. The DS Lite, the DS Lite. You had another one after that. And then you had the 3DS.
Then you had a 2DS, which is like a flatter version.
Yeah. It's like, my goodness.
I got a 3DS for $100 a couple of years ago. Because my friend really wanted me to play Pokemon with him, but he never really added me as a friend, and I was kind of sad about it. But I ended up catching 3/4 of most of the Pokemon in Omega Ruby.
Nice.
And I went through almost all the ancients, except for Regigigas.
I remember the last Pokemon game I left off of was Pokemon Diamond.
I was on Shield. I was like maybe up to 300 Pokemon, and then I gave up.
Why is that?
I had no friends to trade with.
Oh, wow.
And then I got distracted with Xbox because my buddies in Utah, yes, that's right, Taylor, got me motivated to play Mortal Kombat with them and everything else. So I still have my Switch and I use it for events or if I'm like dead bored. But yeah, I end up just squatting up with my Utah group and we just start playing everything on Xbox. I get yelled at on PC.
Oh, man. We've come a long way in gaming.
We have.
And I remember yesterday night after the Smash tournament that was here at Flint Arcade, I remember a post. I think I posted in the Grid at Flint's Discord in the gamer section. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'm pretty sure you've seen it.
I think so. I'm checking on Discord on my PC right now.
Gamers. It's like which is the best gaming era?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you have the 80s, the 90s, the late 90s, early 2000s, late 2000s, and new age, which is this age. Like, which is the best gaming era?
What would you say?
Late 90s.
Okay, I agree.
Late 90s.
It was either that or early 2000s. Those are the only two
Yeah,
I can say.
Myself, Eddie, and Will, we all agreed on the same thing. It had to be late 90s, early 2000s. That was like literally the best era of gaming.
Yeah, because I grew up on Crash Bandicoot. Oh, dear. I just got the mention on your story.
Yeah, let me go ahead and silence my phone before I get rudely interrupted.
I just start saying Nani every time. But yeah, Crash Bandicoot is what I grew up to. I played all of them up to Crash the Titans. I can't wait for number 4 to come out soon.
So you played mostly all the Crash games?
Except for the remastered editions.
For me, I would say the one game series that I've played all of. I mean, there's a good number of series, but I would say I played mostly all of the Ratchet and Clank series.
Ooh, I've only played the first one.
Wow.
I know! I never got into it because I never knew about it.
Okay.
Until I saw like some of the commercials on YouTube recently.
I played all of the Ratchet and Clank series, and I played all of the Jack and Daxter series.
Okay, I have 2, except for the racing version.
Okay, I remember that.
Then
one.
I played...
Which was an odd turn that they went from an action adventure, and then they just had Jack X Racing, and I'm just like...
Death Race.
Wait, what?
But for teens.
What is this? Why did y'all take that? Why did y'all take this direction?
But the only spin-off that I kind of regretted playing was Dexter.
For the PSP?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of work.
Yeah,
But I put hours into it just because I wanted to see like the story of how Dexter became. I don't know if it was canon or not, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I don't know, for me, my brother, he played all of the Sly Cooper series. I didn't get. I stopped at. I stopped midway in Sly 1 because it was just like, yeah,
I stopped all the way down at 3 towards the end.
yeah. My brother, he played all of them. I'm
Because
like, more power to you, bro. Like,
Clockrow is like one of the hardest bosses I ever had to face at my age.
what was the name? Clockrow?
Clockrow, I think it was like a female version of the clock, like the mechanical vulture. I think it was a combination of two people. I might be wrong. Don't sue me if I'm wrong. Don't sue me.
Oh man, like, and going back to which gaming era is the best? Like going back to that, like late '90s, early 2000s. People don't understand. Like that was literally the best time to game because you had this like between it was between the era of the N64, PlayStation, and I would count the Dreamcast.
Oh my god, I forgot about the Dreamcast existing.
That era along, and then the next console generation era was the PlayStation 2, the Nintendo GameCube, and then the Xbox. Like those two eras, literally
Yes.
the best time
Yes.
of gaming.
I enjoyed a GameCube. I got one from a thrift store, but I couldn't find a power adapter. Now today I'm going to try to hunt for one. And I need games.
Are you still hunting for one now? Because way back when may have one for you.
I'm going to walk there in a second and find out because
If they're open today, though.
fingers crossed. But
Yeah.
there was one game I remember playing with my cousins. It was a Yu-Gi-Oh game that was for the GameCube, where you travel with your Egyptian god and just start fighting various monsters or other duelists, and you earn specific cards. I forgot the name of it.
I remember playing a Yu-Gi-Oh game on the Game Boy. Like me and my brother, we got addicted to the Game Boy version of Yu-Gi-Oh. Like,
I did too.
Like it was heavily addicted.
Then I tried Duel Links on the iPhone and I got destroyed.
Oh yeah, it is completely.
I can't do online. My friend just had summoned Exodia and I walked out. I walked out. And then they consider it forbidden now.
Wait, Exodia's forbidden now?
I think it's been.
Banned?
Like for actual gameplay, yes.
Wow.
I think so in Duel Links. I might be wrong. Because I think they follow at least second or third gen. It's the equivalent of having multiple pot of greeds. where you just draw multiple cards. I'll take 5 cards. I'll take 5 cards. You know, with all this, I can just summon Exodia one shot. I would have a deck of pot of greeds just to spite somebody.
I remember Yu-Gi-Oh. Man, the early years of playing Yu-Gi-Oh up until when they brought in the synchro summon.
Oh yeah.
The time before that, best time to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Especially
after
the
that, I'm
animated
just like,
series
I'm
was
out.
good.
I'm like, I'm out. And then when I finally played that one Yu-Gi-Oh game, the very first one that came out on the PS4, I was like, yeah, I'm excited to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh and whatnot. I got wrecked online.
Yeah.
Like, the deck that I had, that I was so accustomed with, like, I would try to replicate the one that I had in real life. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to bring it onto online and whatnot, because I didn't know much of Synchro Summon, the XYZ Summon, Pendulum Summon. I didn't know.
I'm sorry. What kind of summon? The pendulum summon?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it went that far, and I'm just like, wait,
Judas Priest. That's a lot of work. I remember this.
what? Like, I'm like, yo, I just only know the basic stuff of just, you sacrifice one monster, you bring out another one. Or if you want to special summon a monster, you would remove 2 cards from your graveyard from play, and then bam, you get to summon this super strong monster card on your field. Now it's completely different, so I'm just like, yeah, I think I'm done with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna back up.
It's way
10 feet
past
away.
my time. I have not played the game. Like I would like back then when I was heavily into it. I would have loved to play it professionally, but there weren't that many avenues or places other than Tate's that I know of that I could go to and compete against other people. They didn't have those.
I tried shooting my shot with a duelist one time. I just remember this because I was talking. I'm like, "Hey, nice shirt." And it was a classic Yu-Gi. It's like, "Yeah, I compete in Yu-Gi." I'm like, "Oh, hey, you should go to Flynn's." What's Flynn's? I'm glad you guys. Here's my here's the Flynn's. Never got a message back. But I couldn't stop laughing afterwards, realizing, wow, I hope I spelled Flynn's right or my name.
Oh, man,
Yu-Gi-Oh. It's time to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Can't believe how much that game has evolved throughout the years.
I'm impressed and terrified
Yeah.
that people can just like adapt real quick.
Yeah. I can't. I'm too old for that. Too old for that.
I just followed at least the first 3 gens with the anime or the
Yeah.
animated series
Same here.
because I just love how Yugi's just insane. And it's like, hey, if you lose this, I'm taking your soul with a hatchet blade and a serial killer coming right next to me. I accept your challenge. And now as an adult, I'm just thinking, hold up, would you really sacrifice your life just for a card game?
Yeah. It's like the more you look into it, it's like, okay, this person's threatening your life, and the only way you can get out of it is through a children's card game. Team 4-Star. I'm not Team 4-Star. It's not a Team 4-Star reference. It's more of a Little Karibo reference.
Oh.
If you've watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged on YouTube, which I highly recommend, I'm telling you right now.
I have briefly. I've seen.
Oh my God, you will love it. You will love it. So many references, and they portrayed Seto Kaiba in Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged perfectly. Perfectly. Oh man, completely deviated off the topic of the gaming era, and just started talking about Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's time to get back into this.
Yes. All right, so, but yeah, like PS2 era, Nintendo 64 era, like best times to game, and then after that you had the PS3, Xbox 360, online gaming era now picked up. Even though I've played online games in the PS2 era, if you had that network adapter for your PlayStation 2, if you had the fat one, or if you had the slim one, you could just hook up an Ethernet and you would just play online games.
Oh yeah.
That was in its early stages, its infancy stages. PS3, Xbox 360. Getting into online gaming was, oh my goodness. I have a lot of toxic moments in gaming. And I'm pretty sure you laughing, you already know what I'm talking about.
I just have toxic moments too, and I know this from experience.
Like, oh my God, where can we begin? I would...
Common teabagging, people just being jerkbags, people yelling at me. But I think I've had my first hate mail ever in a while. I was playing For Honor, and I was just being really toxic with this guy called Shigoki. Like a really big sumo guy with a, I think it's called a Kanebora, which is like a big baseball bat that's studded. And the guy's like, you fight dishonorably. In For Honor, I'm just like, want a rematch? I'll play somebody else.
Oh my goodness! What game? But there, of course, we already know Modern Warfare 2. Like the lobbies, the voice chatting back then was just, it was at an all-time high. Like
Oh
toxicity
my God.
level, the toxicity level of the early days of the Xbox and PS3.
Oh my God.
The toxicity level, it was so high. I would have to compare it to Chernobyl high. That's how high it was. That's how toxic.
People come
it
back
was.
mutated right now or dead.
Yeah, like it was mandatory to have.
From like you sucked. I just took your mom out to dinner and played better now, son.
Like it was mandatory to have a headset.
Oh my God! Just to mute everybody.
Even then, like even though you could mute them or whatnot, and then you could just enjoy your game. Eventually, you'd be like, you know what? Let me just unmute everybody, and then you just hear all of this argument and people just talking a bunch of toxicity. Man, I miss those days. And another game I remember playing was SOCOM Confrontation.
I never played that game.
Yeah, on the PlayStation 3. My goodness, that game was toxic. Like, I was one of those guys that would camp at base and just snipe people from their bases as they left. Just snipe them. Or worse, be that one guy that just hid in the corner with a rocket launcher, and so anytime someone passed by, boom.
I would cry, honestly.
The amount of death threats that I've received was astronomical. Like, you would send the Secret Service. Good times, man. Good times. Good times. I received, like, if I could pull out my log of all the death threats and hate mail that I've gotten over the PS3 years, I could write a book off of that. I'm just saying. Because of how toxic I was, how cancerous I played. Good times, man.
I just mostly got "you suck" half the time because I was just like a 15 or 13-year-old learning how to play Halo 3. And that's when I discovered Teabag. I'm like, what is this awkward movement? But I looked at like awkward movement gaming and I'm like, Teabag. I'm like, ah.
Yo, I remember when Halo 3 came out. And I think it was in my junior year of high school, because it came out in 2000 and, no, was it 07? Yeah, it came out in 07. Halo 3 came out in 07. I was a senior at that time, and I remember half of my friends not showing up to school that day. I remember that. Like, half of them did not show up to school for that day, and the ones that did, they was like, yo, I don't even feel like being here. Y'all wanna go? Like, yeah. And we would just all walk off the school ground and just go to my friend's house, and we would just crash there just for hours on end.
Goals.
Yeah, man. Good times, man. You can't beat that. Ooh, Gears of War. When Gears of War came out, oh man, that was a good time.
Shout out to my homie Cam for reminding me to get it.
I remember being trashed at that game, Gears of War 1, because I didn't know, like, my friends will tell you the story. I did not know how to dodge the Berserker, the one that's, like, blind. And you have to kill him with the Hammer of Dawn.
I became toxic at a young age from Gears of War. I had my older cousin play Gears of War 2 with me, and multiplayer, he just sniped me. And then, like, I started watching him snipe, and then I got better at it after I stopped playing with him. But the weirdest thing was, I learned better when I was playing some like Spanish hip hop or Spanish rap or like some salsa. Never played it again, but I started playing songs from Zion or Akon or some random. It was the funniest way of how I learned how to play good and Horde and like the rest of the Gears.
Yeah, Gears of War 1 I didn't beat, but 2 and 3 I did.
I need to beat 4 and 5. I've been slacking, and my friend Cameron's been reminding me to play it.
But yeah, I remember when I first played Gears of War 1, I did not know how to dodge properly. So the Berserker always killed me.
I was stuck with General Ram with his Bat Swarm. And then I finally got through it.
Yeah.
Because I played with my cousins in Arizona around 08 when it first came out. Man, I've been a Gears fan for a long time.
I don't blame them, man. It's a good franchise, even though...
They got their stuff together, so I think it could be better.
Even though for me, I'm just like...
They stopped their microtransactions.
They stopped their microtransactions?
Yep. So they can you can have the option of buying currency, but you can earn in-game points. They used to have two separate currencies, like scrap and iron, I think, or scrap or gears, where you can spend something on another, or you have to buy a certain amount. But you can just earn currency by playing the game. It's not a lot, but you can get stuff. I think I currently have like 3,000, which is enough to buy a character. Because the new season came out and I haven't been playing it. I go for Dom. Shout out to Carlos Ferro for the best voice actor.
Good old Dom, man. Like I felt some type of way when he died in 3.
I did too. I still think about it. It's endless.
Gears of War 2 hit me the hardest when Dom had to kill his wife.
Oh yeah, spoilers.
That hit me the hardest. And I was like, when I was done with the game, and of course it ended off on a cliffhanger. I was like, I love Gears of War 2.
Dude, I was talking to my friend last night who
love it.
was introducing his cousin to Gears 2, at least that specific scene. I'm talking through it, and he just goes like, "Andrew, shut up!" And I just mute my mic because I knew the part that they were on.
Yeah. Yeah, like, some people say, like, the Gears of War story is, like, corny or whatnot, like 1, 2, and 3, but it wasn't corny to me. I enjoyed it. Like, you would literally just sit there and just play and just be like, You don't want no distractions. You're just that focused.
I wasn't the same after Dom's death, literally. Like, no death can beat that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, I want to see this to the end. I want to see what's going to happen next. And then Gears of War 3 came out. Boom. Day one purchase. Got it. Played it.
Yep.
Loved it. Even all the way up until the end, I was like...
Still, Gears 3 is my favorite.
Yeah. I love 2 for the story, but 3, overall, my favorite. Overall. So, now we move on to this current era of gaming, where, as I was telling Eddie and Will yesterday, that gaming has gotten better in this era.
It has improved.
But it comes with a lot of nonsense, like microtransactions, huge updates thanks to Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Did you see the post I did last night of the 66 gigs for Xbox?
Yes, I was telling Eddie and Will that I'm like, yo, good thing you guys don't have Modern Warfare on the Xbox because they have it on the PS4.
I cried.
And it was like, oh yeah, you guys have a 66 gig update. I'm like, what?
So I got my Seagate 2 terabyte hard drive, and I forgot that it was an SSD, so it was just slow as dirt. I think it's halfway through by now, and it's been 2 days.
Oh god.
It's like 50% or 60% the last time I checked.
Oh god.
And then there's a song I used where it's like, the beginning is like, I don't understand.
I'm like, yo.
Shout out to Esports Miami for showing me that.
Microtransactions, huge updates, overpriced DLC.
More DLC, even they have remastered versions that cost a little bit less than the game you bought it for originally. Like Mortal Kombat now has a bundle for like $45 of everything contained when we just bought the combat pack. Or maybe it's like $50 when you have everything.
Yeah. It's like now gaming has become more of a service rather than something you would just, pick up and play, and then once you're done and you beat it, okay, on to the next game. Now they just want you to continue to keep playing for hours and hours and hours to days and days, months and months.
Until the servers are just done.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just like, bro. Like, it feels good when you buy a game, you play it for whatever the content that they provide in it, and you beat it, and you're like, I enjoyed this game. I really like this game. I got my money's worth. Can't wait to see if they release a sequel. Or if not, then, hey, I can move on to another game.
But now you never know.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, you never know.
We were talking about this with somebody. No, we haven't actually.
Oh, we have not, no.
I was thinking about it.
Like, recently I finished Ghost of Tsushima. Great game. Highly recommend you go pick it up. And, of course, the review is available on Facebook, and YouTube as well. It's also available on my IG as well for those that want to watch it on IG. But, yeah, I highly recommend the game. Got my hours worth. I played mostly of the story. Even the side missions were really fun and enjoyable because I felt like there weren't a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of them were like the same. I would say very few of them were the same, but there were some very diverse side missions where it didn't feel like, okay, I'm literally doing the same thing over and over again. And with those side missions, some of them have like some story base to it. So that's something I really enjoyed about the game, and it's definitely worth the $60. Like, if you're still on the fence on getting the game, watch my review. I'm telling you right now, it is definitely worth buying it for. You're not gonna go wrong with it. As I said in my review, my only regret, I didn't get the collector's edition because I would have loved to have that face mask.
Worst case, I'm still learning how to 3D print, so I'll see if I can make you one. Because I've seen some files. I'm like, you would love this.
Yeah, man, it's a fantastic game. I can't wait to play. My next game I'm going to play is Neo 2. Then after that, Doom Eternal.
God bless your soul. I recommend doing the second easiest for people who haven't played like the last Doom, because it's completely different than Doom 2016. I know I've discussed this at least in the past two or three episodes, and how I consider it a bad game after a whole little anti-cheat thing for PC players, and how they nerf some of the speed runs. Because there are people that manage to beat the game in less than like 3 or 4 hours.
Wow.
And the game, like, it took me a month to beat because I was busy with work and such. But just going through everything, going through all the secrets is a pain. I did the secrets without any help. Every single 100% secret. I lost a little bit of my mind from that. I've been fighting the Icon of Sin. I'm not going to tell you how I beat it. You'll have to find out.
I most definitely will.
Icon of Sin's actually one of the funnest bosses I have to deal with.
But yeah, I was like, and Doom Eternal is currently on sale for half off, so good time for me to pick it up.
Good old Bethesda.
Good time for me to pick it up, play it, and give you guys my thoughts on it. Like, hey, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? I'm pretty sure Waluigi will tell you, is it worth it or whatnot?
I mean, I'd say it's worth it for those who want to get to know the story more, even though they really don't get to detail where you have to read everything in the codex, which might... If you like reading, it's okay, because I actually enjoyed the reading, then a brief origin towards the last act. You might like it. You might understand the story a little bit more of how everything came into order. Because some of the Dooms are like in some kind of chronological order. They're not really in chronological order, but there's an order to it. From the last game to the current game.
Oh, okay.
Or first game to the current.
Okay.
Also, if you ever want to play, they also have Doom, like the original Dooms on the actual Doom Eternal game. I'm being that serious.
Oh, that's got to be fun.
Oh yeah, it's not like Doom 2016 where you have the secrets and you find like the old school level styled areas.
Okay.
Like it's the actual parts of the game. I don't think it's the whole game, but it's a part of it.
Gotcha.
It's a good like 36 gigs. I think right now it should be like 40.
Interesting.
What I enjoy about this podcast is we have these random bits of knowledge we can share, and then we learn from other people as well.
Yep. Can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that. So, with New Age gaming, of course, it comes with a lot of other nonsense that you didn't get in the old school gaming, but hey, I guess that's the future of gaming now. Who knows what's going to happen with the next gen consoles, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. We don't know what we're going to be in for, but hey, all we know is that there's going to be some games we're going to play, love, and enjoy, and see what other business practices these publishers throw at us.
Yeah, I'm still hoping that Microsoft actually does the financing for Xbox, because that'd be a unique turn for some players to actually get into the console and to actually afford it.
Right.
But the one thing I remember someone was asking me about new things we hope about. I want VR on Microsoft. Like Xbox have like an actual VR like setup, like PlayStation.
Yeah.
Specifically VR chat, because that would be so much fun.
Oh, definitely.
You know how much people we can just troll.
A lot. I'm surprised that's not even a thing on the PlayStation.
I just want to be Waluigi, damn it.
Like, there needs to be a VR chat for the consoles and whatnot, so that way. But then again, I can imagine how toxic it can go. Like, it can be.
The endless teabagging.
Oh yeah.
I get people like, why is Waluigi wrong? I'm like, I'm his Latino cousin. Where? It's too early for this dry humor.
Oh, definitely it is. Definitely is so. Well, I do want to reflect back on some of the guests that we've had.
I agree.
And we're going to go ahead and start off with our very first guest that we had, which was the Media Nut. Shout out to him.
Hey,
And,
Pedro.
yeah, reflecting back on that podcast, like that very first episode, I was like, I know having him on is going to make a really good episode because I like the kind of energy that he brings.
Me too.
He's very knowledgeable on a lot of Nintendo games and whatnot. And overall, like, he's a good, chill guy. So it was like, you know what? I want this guy to be our very first guest for the podcast. And man, it was a lot of fun to do that podcast with him.
It was. I was in one of his. Wait, I have mentioned this already, but I was in one of his panels for the trivia. That was a lot of fun. Or the debate. I'm sorry. one of his great debates. I lost it, but it was so much fun just to get interactive with everybody.
Yeah.
And he brings that kind of energy. I definitely enjoyed him.
Yeah. And I was glad to have him on. And I remember just leaving that day after the podcast. I'm like, man, it was a lot of fun just to sit down and talk with him about games and whatnot. I loved his rant about
Pokemon.
Pokemon, yes.
I couldn't stop laughing over that. I was like, you had that clip, and I'm like, I gotta find something else funny.
Yes.
And we're talking about how Peach is playing games with everybody. I'm like, you're not wrong.
Like where I forgot how you went with it. I would have to find it on IG. Like where's this?
Where's the cake, Peach?
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up on Instagram.
Oh my god, I loved Pedro. But the funniest thing I remember from him is when we were at Super FanCon, he just took my Lancer prop and I'm taking this, and just starts walking around with it. And Dominic Pace is looking at him, was like, oh, so this is what this. Because when I switched out of into my Gary Carmine because I got so so cold as Wreck-It Ralph. Good times.
Halvin says the media net set the bar high for the first guest. Great guy. Yes, absolutely. He did. He literally set the bar.
He raised the bar.
Yeah, and I got the clip right now. Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah, that was something I would say.
Dude, you just took the words right out of my mouth. Getting rid of half of the Pokemon is not a good idea, Game Freak.
That's true.
Yes.
That is still true to this day.
And Z moves and combining them into some sort of stupid gimmick that has nothing to do with the core Pokemon. It's not a good idea, Game Freak.
Oh my god. I need that energy sometimes.
Yes, like yo, shout out to him again, man. Like as Halvin said in the chat, like he literally set the bar high.
The screaming is what made it valuable.
Yes, like you and I, we were not expecting that.
No, we were not.
We
Especially
were not, but
even when we couldn't. When our audio had a setback and we still sounded decent.
Yeah.
That was the funniest thing you could hear.
Yes, agreed. Like we had a technical issue on our
That was one of our
end,
first
but
ones.
Man, he delivered.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, he delivered.
Then we had Pyro do.
Yeah, we had Pyro do next after him, which I did enjoy that one as well.
Me too. He had a calm flow of everything.
Let me see if was there a clip or a highlight? No, there was no clip or highlight.
Oh, I know I mentioned one about us playing Uno.
Uno?
When Pyro was talking about how he tried to cheat and still lost.
Oh yeah, I remember
I was
that.
dead. I'm like, yo, that's some stuff I would pull and still lose.
Yeah, you cheating in Uno and yet you still lose. Like
That was the funniest thing that happened.
Oh man, gotta have him on again. Gotta have Pyro back on again. Hopefully after the next gen consoles release, definitely gonna have Pyro back on.
Oh yeah.
And after him, we had Jake James, which was really good. Like he gave us a lot of good insight.
I'm still speechless to this day because he was awesome.
Yeah, like he gave us a lot of insight on games journalism, what he does as a games journalist writer, and I'm drawing a blank in my mind.
How we met, briefly how we saw Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Let me see. Do I have a highlight clip of him?
I missed a highlight clip.
I do have one.
I couldn't find a good one.
It's too early. It's the morning time. It was at donuts, nothing.
I didn't have breakfast.
We're waiting.
Me too. Yeah, let me just wait. Just come here.
He's waiting. He's powering through.
Yeah, I remember that one. I was like butchering it that morning. I was like, yo, I'm screwing up this morning.
Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to him. His reviews are awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
And definitely congrats to him for being in a few panels as well.
Oh yeah, like shout
Huge-
out to Jake, man.
huge
Like
shout
he was
out.
in a couple of panels. Which one he wasn't? Hold on.
There's PAX. He's going to be one for PAX. I believe there's another one. I'm trying to remember. Lee Retro is one of them.
Yeah, he was on PAX Online. He was on one of the PAX Online panels. He was also on Uplink as well. Uplink, PAX.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up too.
Yeah, I'm on his Instagram, so
Me too.
to see what he was on. I
Jake's
think he did a panel
Jake's
for...
my fam right there. New York buds.
Say again?
Jake's fam. We're both from New York.
Yeah. And I think it's like he's around the same age as me. Like he's in his 30s just like I am. So very knowledgeable on
Definitely.
a lot of games that he's been playing and whatnot. And check out his streams as well because
Yeah, I need to subscribe to him. I keep forgetting.
yeah, he streams lots of retro games. Even though I want to stream some retro games, but it's just backlog. That backlog says no. You're not going to stream whatever you want. You got games you need to get through.
Yeah, I wish I could learn how to see if I can connect my Elgato with my retro system and such.
Oh yeah,
Still practicing on the art of Elgato.
really? You didn't have it figured it out yet?
Sort of. I'm learning how to capture game clips first for content before I actually start streaming.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to set up that audio properly.
Okay. I can show you.
I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, I can definitely show you on how to do that. And who else we had after Jake? Who's our next guest after Jake? We had
You're making me look at my phone right now, and I'm using...
Negan Bergs. We had Hunter. We had Negan Bergs.
That was one of the funniest ones I've done.
Yes.
Just straight up
Because of his hall mat story.
Yes.
And then I remember that clip that you
my
did.
waifu. My first vampire waifu. I don't judge anyone but waifus.
I remember that.
I have no shame. Blood Rain. That was about.
I remember that clip of him when he told us the story at Holiday Matsuri when he cosplayed as Ricardo Milos.
And I told him I'll join him next Hallmont if there's one. And whatever he does. Because I've always wanted to do Ricardo Milos, and I know my mom will kill me.
I go to Hallmat. I decide a month prior I'm gonna do the 18 plus contest. It is hands down best experience I've ever had. Hands down, one of the best experiences because I had the music, I prepared, I practiced the choreography to a T. I went up the music, and all you hear is, you got that.
I knew you were gonna use that song.
And all you see is me go,
Like you, cause you got that.
I set that up perfectly.
Yes, you set that up so perfectly.
I made it more censored so my mom wouldn't yell at me if she sees Ricardo Milos just strutting.
Yo, that was a fun episode that we did.
That was.
Oh man, too much fun. And after him, we had
Virtual Suplex, right?
yeah, we had Virtual Suplex next after him, which was fun.
That was a lot of knowledge I did not know about, like Sega specifically.
Like he's a
Sega Jaguar or the Sega Saturn, I believe.
Sega Jaguar. He said the Sega Saturn was his favorite console.
And that was something that threw us both off.
Yeah, that threw me off.
Because I haven't heard anyone specifically say that.
Yeah, ever at all.
Shouts out to him.
Yeah.
Plus, I have no wrestling knowledge. And I was impressed there were so many wrestling games back then.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I need to play a couple of wrestling games with him, especially on the N64. I need to get an N64. Well, there's an N64 here in Flint. I need to get WWF No Mercy. Hit up Virtual Suplex and be like, yo, let's run some games. Let's run some matches together. I want to see what you got.
Yeah, definitely. I think I said this earlier, but I was always afraid of pro wrestling as a kid. I just don't know why. I think Kane is just what scared me. Just seeing Kane intimidated me. I'm like, I am not watching this. And then I actually did wrestling, like actual national style, or like, I'm sorry, folk style, Greco-Roman and such, and it still terrified me because I remember someone told me that someone was actually about to have a wrestling match and they were ready to bring a chair out in the middle of the match. I couldn't stop laughing at that story. I'm like, I would just laugh if someone just gets smacked before a match.
Oh man, yeah, like he's very knowledgeable on a lot of wrestling stuff. So definitely, like if you're into wrestling games, and he also spoke on about like Japanese wrestling games where it's
Yeah.
completely different, which I never knew about because I'm only just focused on what I know of here in the U.S., like your WWE and hopefully AEW, All Elite Wrestling, comes out with a wrestling game. Hopefully. And hopefully it's done by someone else other than 2K.
Yeah.
Someone else other than 2K games.
We talked about the nightmare of 2K, how they just
Yeah.
make a new game every year, something different,
Yeah.
subtle.
Yeah.
Let's see, who else we had? We had Butter Punch.
Butter Punch, yeah.
That was an interesting twist because I didn't know he played For Honor then Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, like I was thinking like, okay, he played all of the Mortal Kombat all of his life, like I have, and come to find out, like he started with For Honor and then Mortal Kombat. Like, wait, what? So you're that good at the game? I felt kind of disrespected, insulted.
I was impressed actually. I would
Because
even
I'm
be
just like, I've been playing Mortal Kombat all my life,
I played up to 9.
and you come into the game and you completely demolish me. I feel some type of way about that.
I felt nothing because I was impressed. Because we had that, remember that tie we did and I started screaming?
Yeah.
Because I was freaked out that I managed to get a tie out of that little incident. I might have lost the battle, but I definitely won a good meme out of it. Where you just hear me going, ah!
But as he told me, and of course, as he told not just me,
As he
but
told us.
us in the podcast, that when he got into the game, he started learning the frame data. That's something I still suck at.
I am decent at learning, but I'm not that far ahead of the game.
So once he learned that, that's how he was able to beat me so easily. And I'm just like, I'm doing something wrong, pretty much.
Yeah.
Doing something wrong, but
And I've done enough Combat League not to care anymore. I just play for the heck of it.
yeah.
Man, if I play with my friends, they use custom variations, I insult them. That's right, Taylor.
Oh man. And last we had Daniel, that one photography cosplay.
Yeah, he was pretty fun.
Yeah. He was a bit shy. He was a bit
Yeah.
nervous.
I mean, that's how I started with the first episode.
Yeah. And shout out to him. And as I told him, I told him, just imagine just talking just video games
To us, really.
to us. Don't worry about the cameras and setups, even though it's obvious, it's in front of your face and whatnot. It's going to be live streamed to 3 other platforms.
Hi, Mom.
Don't worry about that. Just worry about the conversation that's at hand, and everything else will you just kind of work yourself out in it and whatnot. And overall, it was a good episode. I did have fun with
Yeah,
it.
I definitely enjoyed everybody's experience here.
Yeah, because everyone brought something different and unique, and you could kind of feel that sensation that they're excited and just be like, I'm ready to have this conversation. I'm ready, let's go ahead and let's just do this. Like, I like that kind of energy because
Me
now
too.
it brings the best out of everybody. It's like, okay, what else we're gonna talk about, or what else that we don't know when it comes to just like gaming in general.
I was definitely thrown off for most of the responses.
Yeah.
Like when me and Butter Punch were talking about Dark Cloud 2, I just had a nostalgia trip because that was my favorite game. And I didn't know they had a remastered for the PS3, PS4.
Yeah, neither did I.
That made me want to go get one, but I'm waiting for the PS5 like everybody else.
Yeah.
Because I know I wouldn't hear the end of it if I don't get a PS5.
Yeah, like right now, I would recommend anyone who's considering getting a PS4 or even Xbox One, don't. Save your money, get that on PS5. Save your money, get that PS5 or
Yeah,
Xbox
that way
Series.
we can do a dual stream and just start cracking jokes at everybody.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like save your cash so that way you get them next gen consoles because you already know the moment they announce the prices. I give it 5 minutes, it's gonna sell out.
I give it 2 days. No, maybe less than a day.
I'm giving it 5 minutes.
Actually, I'll give it 20. 20 minutes.
Because you already know people are just gonna be like pre-order. So that way they can go ahead and cop theirs or hit up their local game store and be like, do you guys have started the pre-orders for PlayStation 5 yet? They say yes, good. I'm pre-ordering it now.
I'm gonna pull up with just $5, just in case I forget and procrastinate over time.
Like go ahead and get that pre-order out and whatnot because PlayStation did say that they are going to double their production in PlayStation 5 because of the pandemic. Because originally they weren't going to ship a lot of consoles out when it first comes out. Now because of the pandemic, you're like, yeah, we're going to up that. I'm like, don't double it, triple.
Yeah.
And triple that triple. Because
They're gonna sell out more of an Xbox. That's hard for me to admit, even though I'm a diehard Microsoft fan. But it's the truth. Because Xbox is getting more vague now with some of the responses.
it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I do appreciate the cloud system that they're trying to use and how Game Pass is going to be free. Membership probably still going to be the same price. But there's not much really going on. PS5 is just loading up slowly.
Oh yeah. It's like a storm's about to approach and just take us all by surprise.
Definitely.
So I'm just letting everyone know, whoever's listening or watching, make sure
You try to cop one.
you cop one and make sure you got one pre-ordered and booked. And when you're going to go pick it up, you may want to bring some people with you so that way you have some protection. Because some people may try to rob you. Because I remember I know it's been years ago. I remember how violent the PS3 and Xbox 360 release days were. I remember how violent they were.
I don't think I've dealt with that.
PS4 and Xbox One, not so much. I think it was very calm. I think people just like chilled out and whatnot. Even though there was like a shortage, because I remember my friends was telling me like it took them over a month. No, the PS3 released in November. By January, they finally copped a PS4.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, by January, they finally got one because they checked all their local places, sold out. And by the time they're like, yeah, we have one stock, gone within minutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because the demand was so high back then. So you can only imagine with the PlayStation 5, the demand's going to be even higher than that. And they're not gonna, and they're upping their production so that way they can at least have a little bit more. I still say it's not gonna be enough because there's gonna be people that's gonna want to get 2 or 3, but they've already.
Oh my God, that's a down payment, literally 2 down payments.
I read an article where they said that PlayStation is gonna tell retail stores to only limit 1 per customer.
Good.
Just 1. So I'm like, well. You might as well start hitting up different stores then.
It's literally the equivalent of people trying to buy iPhones and then sell them God knows how much to the other countries.
You already know that's gonna happen where people are just gonna buy a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X and then try to sell it on the internet for more than what it's worth.
Yep, flip it.
Because
would I do that? Probably.
Because of the availability. It's not available. You already know people are gonna want it. I still say that with the 2 versions of the console, the physical disc and the digital one.
Just get physical.
Yeah, get the physical one.
That might be a little bit more.
Yeah, it may be a little bit more, but go with the physical. And I have a feeling that it's going to be capped at either 5. Some people are saying 500 to 600, which I agree. It's going to be 500 to 600 for the disc. And for the discless one, it's going to be maybe
400?
400 to 300.
Yeah.
300, it may be way too low, but 400 to 500 for the digital and 500 to 600 for the physical disc. That's my prediction. I don't think it's going to be at 700. I think that's going to be way too much. Can I afford it? Yes, I am going to afford it. Gonna max out my credit card. That's what I'm gonna do.
Rip. I'm getting financially wise and try to save up.
But yeah, save your money up, y'all, because this console season is gonna be hectic. And as I said before, and I think I said it in the last podcast or podcast previously, buy your SSD internal hard drives as early as possible.
I got a 2 terabyte.
Buy it as early as possible because when these new consoles come out, that's
Rip.
going to be the first thing that's going to end up selling out like hotcakes.
Now, if we get Warzone, God, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get Modern Warfare for it. No matter how much somebody pays me. Okay, maybe somebody pays me enough for a new SSD, but no matter how much somebody pays me, I am not going to spend that much gigs on Warzone.
So,
Unless they actually have bugs fixed. And it's like compressed, which I doubt.
yeah, I doubt the same thing too.
Should we get on some gaming topics? Anything?
Well, we can get on the one where Epic Games is suing Apple and Google because they removed.
Oh, yeah.
Because Apple and Google removed Fortnite off of their app stores because
That bites.
yeah, all because Epic Games is trying to find another way to not pay Apple and Google their share of the money for selling their product on their stores. And Epic decided to release a video, like a parody video, mocking Apple,
Yeah, I saw that.
you know, with the 1984, with a quote from George Orwell. And I kind of find that very, very
Bold.
funny.
I found it bold, actually.
I'm just like, Epic Games, I'm like, listen, Epic, you're doing this because you don't want to pay Apple and Google their share of the revenue. You want all of the money to yourself. Like, come on now. You're a multi-million dollar company, and you're trying to go up against multi-billion-dollar companies.
Yep. I mean, they're also getting sued by Florida Stonehenge or the Coral Castle because of the trademark name. We were talking about this earlier, but I found it super hilarious that a company in Florida, in Miami, is suing Epic Games just because of the name and the similarity to the look.
Wow.
It's not Florida Man anymore, it's Florida Company. That's after Epic Games.
Right.
And they actually have a file complaint, too.
Alvin says 33% is kind of high. It is.
Yep.
It is.
Definitely.
I don't think Apple and Google, I don't think they're going to be greatly affected or greatly hurt by this move because
No.
they're not affected by this. I think Epic is doing this because eventually they're going to have their own mobile software where...
Oh, like
they
an
can-
Epic Games launcher.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the move.
Do you think they might do it like a streaming service?
Could be.
Because Epic Games Launcher right now on PC is free, where you can just download certain games unless you have to spend money on them.
Yeah.
Like Spellbreak, then you have your Fortnite. Then you have certain... They used to have like a huge sale where some things were free, like GTA and
Oh, yeah,
Ark.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It literally crashed their site.
That's why I didn't bother getting it.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, Grand Theft Auto 5. Oh, Epic Games. Nah, I'm good.
What else?
I'm like, I am good.
Let's see. I'm looking at more articles and gaming-wise.
Yeah, I agree with Halvin. He's saying it's a big PR stunt appealing to the gamers and sticking it to the man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
This is like a little war that I'm going to enjoy watching.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't trust Epic Games because they're greedy for money, and their publisher is Tencent. So
Yeah.
you can kind of put two and two together and be like, we see what you're doing. You're trying to make it seem like, oh, you're for the gamers or whatnot. No, you're not.
Yeah, for everybody.
You're for profit.
Yeah.
First and foremost, not for the gamers.
Everybody's
Like,
BS.
stop it.
Because they have a lot of like trademarks like Star Wars, Avengers, Marvel, DC. All these skins are microtransactions.
Yeah.
Then they promoted the Avengers as well. Like the game modes I give props to, but it's still the same concept, just a different area.
Yeah.
They keep upgrading, which changes the whole. I understand the adaptability and such, but it comes a time where the microtransactions get ridiculous because people are spending on looks, and you're hitting the youth as well, or the kids that since it's a T for teen, or
Yeah.
E for
Fortnite.
yeah, it's T for teen because
Yeah.
obviously there's guns, and honestly, I mean, who like actually acknowledges the age for M-rated games and such nowadays?
Yeah, and hardly anybody. well, that's Epic Games for you.
Yeah.
Saying that they're for the gamers, but most gamers know you're not. It's profit first. So, next topic is the Marvel Avengers beta. Who played
Oh,
it? Did you play it?
I don't even have a PS4.
What?
I've said this in every single episode that I've not got a PS4.
Was it? I thought it was available on the Xbox as well. Or
I have no idea if it's Avengers is both Xbox and PS4. You're making me look this up now.
well, I played the beta. I think it was either Thursday or Friday. No, Friday. I played the beta Friday. I streamed it on Twitch and Facebook, and
Oh, it is. Oh, it is for Xbox and also Google Stadia and PC. I'm sorry, I've always wanted to say that.
Google Stadia is still a thing in 2020. You heard what's going on, Chris? Google Stadia is still a thing. They
Yeah.
should just cancel that damn thing.
I didn't bother. My friend said it sucked because it says there's like they keep rapid updates, but the servers still suck. People play Destiny on it.
That in itself is a huge L. But yeah, I played the Marvel's Avengers beta, and it's okay. That's all I'm saying. It's okay.
Was it like Destiny, but third person?
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Because I know they have two
I'm
abilities,
getting that feeling from it.
and it's more like close combat, from what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I've seen the trailers, I've seen the alpha, and I've also seen like their little, the alpha, like their whole acknowledgement, like they're all talking about the details of the game and the story. I was watching it on my way to somewhere. It was about a good 40-minute video, but I just skipped to the good parts. The animation looks nice and the cinematics, but gameplay just looks like Destiny 2 with more microtransactions.
And it's more of like a beat 'em up. Like you're just going around just beating up on enemies and whatnot. I can see this game being fun if you did it with your buddies and whatnot, and you guys can just select any character that you want. But I was playing through like the story mission, and you're playing with either Hulk or Kamala Khan, and yeah, it was fun playing as Hulk. But eventually, you kept doing the same moves over and over again.
Yeah, I saw
Over
Thor's
and over
gameplay. It looked kind of cool.
Even though there's a skill tree that you can upgrade your character and
Oh, so like
you have
Destiny.
more moves that you can use in your arsenal. I'm just like, eventually by the time I max out this whole entire thing, like I've done with all my characters on Destiny,
You'll beat the game at least twice.
yeah. And I was just like, let me see, with the new characters that they're going to have coming out, they're going to have Spider-Man come out exclusively for the PS4.
Oh, no.
When I heard about that, I was like, oh, they are throwing shade at Xbox.
Yep, they don't like us. At least give us something cool like Black Panther. Or actually, would he be useful? How would he jump or climb certain places? I have questions now. Falcon, someone like give us something.
Halvin says, bake sale and bikini car wash to get Waluigi on PlayStation.
Am I going to be the one in bikini or somebody else?
Chris says that new Marvel game is cracked. Like, I have to play a little bit more in order for me to, like, give it, like, is it worth that day one purchase? For right now, for what I played for about 2 hours and almost 30 minutes, even though there are more to do, I'm just like, this ain't it. I ain't feeling it.
No.
I already know that by the time, like, the only characters I felt that was fun to play with was Thor and Captain America, and that's just about it.
Shield toss. Whoosh. Pizza pie.
Like Thor felt fun to play with. Captain America felt fun to play with. Black Widow, okay. Iron Man, Hulk, it's gonna.
You have your tank, and you have your shooters, and you have everybody else just throwing hands.
Like
So a little bit of
with
Ultimate
Hulk,
Alliance.
it's like here's my thing with Hulk. You know you're like the big guy, the big tank and whatnot, and you're supposed to cause destruction and whatnot. There's certain
But-
parts in the game that can't be destroyed, and I'm just like, I'm Hulk. I should be able to destroy this.
Punch Bust does not get punched.
Yeah,
Graphics help. Unreal Engine do
Chris,
something.
I don't blame you. Chris in the chat says, not gonna lie, I effing hate Hulk gameplay. Like Hulk was a bit boring. Like you're strong and whatnot, but it was just boring. Like I'd rather play, as I said, I'd rather play as Cap or Thor because at least you can mix it up. With Hulk, you just have just like bare bone stuff, and then with Kamala Khan, which I like to call a knockoff version of Mr. Fantastic.
I was about to say that.
Like, you know, she has some variety to her moves and whatnot, and
I was gonna call her Miss Clappers just because of those hands, those small hands like a toy,
yeah.
like from the '90s or early 2000s. I don't know.
Second mission with Hulk was getting me tight. Yeah. I'm saying though, man, like I was not like it's like this. Like if I want to do the mission structure, let me play with anyone that I want.
Yeah,
So that way I don't have to worry about playing with characters that I'm like, supposedly you're going to have to be forced to play these characters so that way you progress through the story and then boom, you get this person, then you get this person, then you get this person. Like in the demo run, you do get to play as all the characters in certain sections. I felt like Thor's section was so short because...
was he in that Shield helicopter or that copter? I was.
No,
'Cause that's what I saw from a gameplay.
No, for Thor's section, like you and Iron Man, you guys are going to, you know, to the disturbance or whatnot, and just get rid of the bad guys.
Ow.
You start off with Thor, and then you're swinging your hammer and doing all these moves.
Hammer time.
Yeah, Thor is fun to play with, and then when I went to Iron Man, I gotta get used to him, but he's not. Captain America's section was hella short. Yes, I agree. Like Thor and Cap section short. Iron Man, it wasn't that short, but it was just I could skip. And then of course his moveset, it just felt like I understand the game is playing at 30 frames per second and whatnot. Like I would say it like this: if you're used to playing Marvel Spider-Man on the PS4,
It's not like that.
it is not like that. If you're going into the Marvel game thinking it's gonna play almost similar to Marvel Spider-Man, you're gonna be heavily disappointed. Heavily disappointed. Because at least
It's very limited, like mapping.
like the moveset that all the characters have is very, very limited until you upgrade them. At least in the Spider-Man game, it's like even without the upgrades, you still have like a good set of moves that you can pull off and do, which is gonna intrigue me more to see what they're gonna do with Spider-Man once he comes into the Avengers game. Are they going to limit him, or are they gonna give him a lot of stuff?
Like, I know it's gonna be Miles Morales, but I wish they showed some more stuff, like techniques from Way of the Spider and such. Because there was a point where Peter, like, did not have his spider senses or abilities, and he had to learn martial arts. I guess they called it a spider style. I remember this comic for some reason.
So with Chris, it's the complete opposite. Like if you're going in thinking it's gonna play like Marvel Spider-Man, you're gonna be disappointed, like really disappointed. And
I hope Miles
you don't get
fights
a lot
better.
of time with some of the other characters. Like I'm like, I just want to play some missions and use any character that I want.
Agreed.
Like, give me that option. But of course, they don't want to spoil the story. Or even, like, they even have, like, a training room, like a virtual reality training room. Like, let me play with any of the characters. Like, when I went to the training room the first time I played as Iron Man, it was fun to play as him, but I got bored quick. I don't want to play as Hulk. Boring. Don't want to play as Kamala Khan. Just give me Cap, give me Thor. I'm good. If I had to settle with Black Widow, fine. No big deal. But give me my 2 brawlers. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
Let's see. Other gaming news, they just leaked a possible new killer for Dead by Daylight. I've been getting back into it.
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, it's basically a horror survival where you have 4 players trying to rebuild generators. It's a really easy process where you hold a button and have reaction times. Mm-hmm. Then you have specific killers coming after you, like Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger. They have something known as Trapper. They've had the Oni, the pig face from the Saw. They've had so many trademarks except for Jason, since I think that's a whole different alleyway how to do it. But they're just leaking one that's possibly going to be, I believe, the Candyman.
Ooh.
I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I am super hyped to see it. Because
Chris says, F that game. What game? Dead by Daylight?
I'm on a whole different level of gaming. I'm so sorry.
You talking about Dead by Daylight, Chris? Let me know in the chat.
They also have Pyramid Head. I hate him so much. From Silent Hill.
See, when it comes to like horror games, I am a complete wuss. I don't do horror games because I got enough problems of my own I gotta deal with. Oh, Chris says it's so hard to play killer because survivors are broken AF.
Some are if you have the right perks. Because I have the worst perks for like toxicity. Because I make sure I can see people from a certain distance so they won't notice me. There's like perks for each killer and survivor. One guy I play as Jake Park. He's able to calm himself. Like if he gets hit, you won't hear him scream, but you'll see blood. Because every time someone gets hurt, you'll see a blood trail unless they heal themselves because they have like first aid that you just wrap around.
Right.
Then you have certain perks like when you fix a generator, you can see where the killer is. If you're hooked, which is like their way of executing somebody. Like, if you're hooked, you survive for 2 minutes until they have something called the entity crawl at you and just take your soul or whatever. It's like a little survival, but you have a chance of surviving. You can only get hooked 3 times, but then some people have what they call a ebony memento mori, which is basically, hey, if you get hooked, I can kill you once you come back out. And some of these executions are wild, especially seeing Ghostface from Scream. I hate playing against characters like that.
Forbidden Sauce in the chat says horror games are the best when you play with your homies.
That is true. I can't just play with your friends because if all 5 of us are, we're going to be super toxic. There's one guy I play with, Paul Devlin. He's one of the another cosplayer that's in South Florida. We talk mad crap against a killer or somebody if we play.
And Chris says you got to play Scummy to win as killer.
Yep. Yep. There's no.
It's really like that, huh?
You have to watch YouTube videos of people being toxic. I can't be toxic in the game since I'm too nice, so I give some people a chance. Then there are people that just teabag, and I'm like, you have to go.
And Alvin says playing Scummy is the best way to play villain. So
That is true.
I mean, you got a point because they're not going to be fair.
Oh, there's one I play called the Doctor. He has an ability where you can shock people and they can have hallucinations of seeing my character in front of them or seeing... There's also ways to stun a killer, like using a flashlight to blind somebody or throw a pallet right in front of them so they stun for a few seconds. And I can shock somebody to have illusion that there is a pallet there when there's no. So they stand there trying to do the animation, but it just can't do it and they just walk through it.
Well, maybe for the month of October, like
I'm doing a
Halloween theme.
I'll do a stream here if I have to.
A Halloween theme stream. Maybe I will play Dead by Daylight with y'all.
Oh
or
my
whatnot.
gosh,
So that way,
I'm gonna do it too.
so that way I can get my hands into this game because I have heard like a lot of stuff about this game and of course the toxicity being one of them. But it's just
It's a different level.
But it's just with me, it's just like me and horror games, we just don't mix because I'm too much of a coward. Dead by Daylight finally crossplay.
That is true. That is true. Xbox PC. It's going to be a nightmare with PC players because they have better accuracy when it comes to the killer.
Chris says, so all console and PC can play. Even PS4 too?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, let me look this up. Dead by Daylight.
Okay, me too.
PS4?
Okay, me too.
Crossplay?
I'm looking this up too because I'm curious about this.
Dead by Daylight crossplay.
It's cross-platform.
between PC and console.
It runs on cross-platforms by searching D by D
Live
IDs.
for PS4, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch.
So I know what we're gonna do.
Oh.
So we're probably gonna have to set up a Discord chat. We play together. We get some more people in on this. We get 2 more because if we get 1 more person as a killer, we gotta mute them if they play. Because the whole trick is suspense. Because if you have someone in the same group, then like it's gonna get toxic. You know who they're gonna aim for. I've done this before. I've had experience with 5 people in a party, and it gets irritating. I just have.
Chris says PS4 community Dead by Daylight is the most toxic.
You know, Xbox, it's still toxic.
It's still toxic. Right?
No matter what you do about it. Oh, I love this game so much.
Yeah, I may have to jump on this game.
There is a tutorial, so at least you won't get fall behind.
Okay, there's a tutorial. Okay, that's good then.
There is a tutorial, and I ignored it my first time, and I actually played it. I panicked because they have the Demigorgon, and that's a whole different series. Actually, I was there before the Demigorgon from Stranger Things. He just buries holes, and he can travel anywhere within those like dimensions, quotation marks. They do have maps based on horror areas like Halloween, Scream. They have the school from Silent Hill. They have a small area that's based off of Saw, where you have the bathroom that closes the door and everything else around it. The whole goal is to turn on generators, and they scatter them all over the map. Once you get 5, you have to close you have to open a gate, and it's a loud gate, and the killer might not hear it, but he might be aware of what's going on. The killer can see generators and hooks. So if he sees a generator, he's not sure if they're turning on unless you have a specific perk. I'm sorry, this is me playing Dead by Daylight for a week straight. Catching up. This is how I can summarize it in a nutshell in a part of our podcast.
Alvin said, them bastards on PS4 just bad. Make you want to say, okay, what's your address? See how tough you are in person. And it's like 12-year-olds just being toxic AF.
Dude, we gotta link up.
Oh yeah, definitely. We gotta get a session popping.
Oh.
I'm really interested now because usually, as I said before, horror games, horror survival games, I stay away from them because I'm too much of a coward. Even though I've been through
Dead by Daylight is my only exception, which is the funniest thing.
I don't even watch horror movies. That's how much of a coward I am. Even though I've been through some hellish stuff in my own personal
We are the
life.
complete opposites, and I just realized this. Because I take pleasure in watching gore.
Chris said that actually happened to me, and he actually showed up. He said he smoked him when he pulled up. Oh my god. Oh man.
Dead by Daylight, more like Dead by Afternoon. Showed him hair.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Oh, now that's a moment right there. That is a moment right there. Oh goodness. Oh man.
Oh, my ribs. I wasn't expecting that to be that funny.
Let's move on to the next topic. Fall Guys, the new sensation.
I should have bought it. I've seen so much gameplay.
Yeah, the new sensation that has hit the gaming.
It's chaotic.
Fall Guys, and I looked at it like someone told me to like download the game. I looked at some of the gameplay of it. I'm like, I'm good.
It is chaotic. It's like a race in general.
I'm like, I don't know what's going on. This looks kind of kiddish.
It is. It's like an E for everyone,
Yeah.
specifically PS4 and PC.
Yeah.
Xbox left alone, like everybody else.
I was like, nah, I ain't feeling for it.
I keep forgetting to download it. It's like $20.
And then I'm seeing a lot of people streaming it and whatnot. Like, Fall Guys is fun, not gonna lie. Interesting.
It does look fun.
Yeah.
I just stopped procrastinating. I've been just learning how to program this cure for my printer instead of playing Fall Guys.
And for me, I just got a backlog of games I got to get through. So it's like, yeah, I see the game, but pass. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna pass it. And yeah, I would stream it, but everybody else is streaming it, and
That is true.
yeah,
I just stream random
It's
stuff.
gonna be completely oversaturated. So it's like, now I'm gonna focus on something else. But who knows? Maybe I'll have a night. Maybe people convince me good enough to be like, yo, play it. I'm like, fine, I'll play it. Just like Dead by Daylight. I'm convinced. Y'all convinced me to get. Now I gotta.
Hi,
get
I'm
to
Waluigi.
October.
I'm one of those guys that can convince people.
Now I gotta get it because if there is a high level of toxicity and a lot of, well, I'm not gonna say the word because I've been going pretty good so far, not using any kind of profanity on the podcast. If there's a lot of effery in Dead by Daylight, then by all means, I will get in on this effery too. Same, I stream random BS. Yeah,
Me too.
yeah, I stream random stuff all the time. And y'all already know it's Sunday, so it's Tekken. So Sundays is always Tekken, so y'all already know. And other days, I just like to stream something different. Like recently, before we've been going on for quite a good time, man. By
Okay.
11:30, we gotta wrap up since the arcade's gonna open in less than 45 minutes.
What else? Cyberpunk 2077 is coming out in November. That's going to be an interesting game. I
I think
think
they delayed that.
like 5 times.
Yeah, like it was supposed to. Like the game was supposed to come out in April, then it got pushed back to what I think June.
But they're really like definitely pushing the RPG in it.
Yeah, like with Cyberpunk 2077, I had a feeling that they're gonna push it to the same release window around
Yep.
PS5 and Xbox, so that way they can capitalize that. Which I was like, well, if y'all gonna push it around that time, then I might as well just get it for the PS5 then.
Yeah, I do like how they're also giving it for the earlier consoles as well for Xbox One and PS4.
Alvin and I agree. The effery on multi-platform multi-platform games is getting bigger due to increase in crossplay. Yes.
Mortal Kombat, Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, especially Call of Duty. That's why.
I'll say Call of Duty again because there's Warzone.
Yeah, that is why I want for next gen, and I've said this on my own streams as well. They need crossplay should be mandatory on next gen consoles.
Agreed. Unless
Mandatory.
the game is single player, then that's
Yeah, unless the game is a single player. But wow, I just lost my train of thought.
What else? Let me sling some randomness. There's that walking Gundam in Japan that you showed earlier.
Oh yeah, that big 60.
Was it 60 foot?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is 60 foot. And it walks.
In Japan,
That's some wild stuff right there.
they have not weaponized it yet, so
Damn. I wouldn't be mad if it just right.
crossplay in Tekken 7. Yes, Chris, absolutely.
I would join you guys so much.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm pretty sure you've seen some of my highlights of
Yes.
the streams.
Your screams are the funniest thing. Like I showed my mom just to like realize how much energy he has.
Like my regular guys, when they show up for Tekken and whatnot, we be hella toxic. Like we have a golden rule. We have a golden rule. Number 1, earn your wins. We do not give out freebie wins. You got to earn your wins. We're not gonna go easy on you. That's the first rule. The second rule: if you are a random, beat them to the point they rage quit, and that has happened before several times, and we enjoy it.
I'm stubborn. I will keep fighting until the very last fight.
We have a high bounty on this one player that he showed up to the lobby. He only wanted to challenge me because he didn't want to challenge everybody else because there was
Well,
a
that's
high
sad.
rank. You remember that one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He still has a high bounty. So eventually, one of these days, if we do catch him again, then one of the regular guys is gonna make sure to destroy him and then send me the clip. I want to see the Saul.
Me too. Should I go on with the questions, the Q&A?
Hold on. Alvin in the chat says that chubby Xbox controller gonna mess you up though. And Chris says, so I can stop playing this garbage AF PS4 and only play Tekken on PC. Yeah, because
That is true.
Yeah, because Chris hates playing Tekken 7 on PS4. He likes to play it on PC because he don't have to worry about input lag. He doesn't have to worry about
That is true.
latency issues and whatnot. It is a complete smooth experience on PC.
Some people on the PC are the same way with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I agree.
I saw one fluid Jackie and it terrified me. He's like, yeah, I went from PC to Xbox and made a guy quit. I like reading the Reddit post.
But yeah, let's get to the Q&A.
Let's see. Virtual Suplex asks, what do you think was the biggest game summer release? Usually there's a Steam sale, or there's Fall Guys, actually, I'd say. Was one of the biggest ones so far.
And Chris in the chat says input lag is crazy high. Yeah.
That is terrifying.
But on what did the Virtual Suplex say?
What do you think was the biggest game summer release?
Summer release.
Well, Ghost of Tsushima was one right off the bat.
Ghost of Tsushima was one, and then you have Fall Guys. That's another one.
Then for Mazel Tov. Let's see. Xbox, there wasn't really much going on.
No.
Nothing significant. Next one was That One Photography asking, what experience have you gained since starting the podcast?
Experiences that I've gained since I've done the podcast, just self-improvement and
I agree.
learning to hold better conversations and, more so sticking to the topic and just, yeah. It's other than self-improvement, sticking to the topic and, constantly being engaging in the conversation while, having a podcast. That's one thing that I will say that I've improved on a lot, especially when I'm here at the arcade and it's, and it's busy or whatnot. I do get people that do listen to the podcast or they'll check it out on YouTube or on Twitch and be like, hey, I watched your podcast or whatnot, and then we'll just have a conversation from there. So I would say it is slowly growing, and I think because of this pandemic, people are tuning in and they see something new and something different. So hey, it's local, and this guy is local, so I can talk to him or whatnot, and just have a conversation with him on certain topics, especially gaming related. So that's one thing I will say that I took from starting the podcast, and just overall just being consistent with it.
Definitely. I've learned to expand my content a little bit more and interview people. Because usually I just like asking questions right at the bat, but I like to dig deeper into people asking questions like specific games, what makes them like it, what is this? Because sometimes our viewers might not actually know what some of these things are. So I started getting more descriptive over time.
Yeah, definitely.
And then people ask me about the podcast as well when I'm in West Palm Beach. It drew me off too. I'm like, people listen here? Because I don't have really many friends no more in the West Palm Beach area that game.
Right.
I have a couple people, but then I just started talking about the podcast and they actually listen. I'm grateful for that. I appreciate all our listeners as well.
Same here, man. Same here. What's the next question?
We've already talked about this, but the PS5 and Xbox specs comparison. And I already loaded them up. Basically, they come out the same day. The prices are not announced. The key exclusives for PS5 is obviously going to be Spider-Man Miles Morales and Horizon 2. Then for Xbox, it's just going to be Halo Infinite and Hellblade 2. Forza Motorsport 8. I know that's going to be a grabber right off the bat because a lot of people are into the racing series. And then you have State of Decay, which I wasn't really a fan of. It's basically one of those zombie survival games. It's like you fight endless undead. So it's not like Dead Rising where you just be reckless and everything. You have to take considerations.
Yeah.
Like driving, you have to find gas, and people that get infected, you got to heal them before they turn into a zombie and you have to put them out. Then I know we talked about the CPU. Xbox with the advantage by like 0.3 gigahertz. They're both going to be on Zen 2 and 8 core. Teraflops, GPU, or for GPU, I'm sorry, it's going to be 10.3 for the PS5, 12 for the Xbox. Both 16 gigs of RAM. Storage, Xbox has a little bit more, like 200 gigabytes more since it's 1 terabyte. And then they both say that the resolutions are going to be up to 8K. And that's a bold statement.
Yeah.
And they're going to be 120 frames per second. They've also talked about the 4K Blu-ray. Because Xbox, most people grabbed it for the entertainment side of it.
Okay. Chris says, I'm calling it pricing of the PS5 discless is going to be $400 with the disc going to be $500.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
With Xbox, I think they're going to range around $400.
So that way they could try to undercut the PS5.
Yep. That and also everything's probably going to be downloadable, so get your storages ready.
Because I remember reading an article, like, even if they have to sell it at a loss, like even if they have to sell the Xbox Series X at a loss, they still want to get it out so that way people can get into the Game Pass because they know that that's the one thing that is very profitable for Microsoft.
Yeah, then there's also backwards compatibility.
Yep.
Which Xbox kind of has the advantage to, where you have the 360 and the original Xbox. Mm-hmm. Where you have PS4 games that are just going to be backwards compatible as well as PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty good for both of them.
Chris says Game Pass is amazing.
That is true. Add me on Xbox, man. I need more friends.
He bought his Xbox just for Game Pass.
I wouldn't blame him. Dead by Daylight's on Game Pass. That's how I got it. And Gears 5.
Alright, what's the other question?
I think that was actually it, because I think we've talked about our thoughts on the beta and our thoughts on Fortnite versus Google and Apple.
All right, Chris just don't put his gamer tag in the chat, so when we're done with the podcast, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll add it through the Xbox app.
All right. Well, is there anything else you got? Anything else you want to talk and say before we put a bow on it and wrap this bad boy up?
Dude, I'm definitely grateful that you let me be a co-host on 10 episodes. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, 10 episodes, man. Look how far we've come.
Yeah, when you messaged me about this, I was definitely excited. Still am to this day. Hopefully, once things clear up, we can actually go to certain events and such and meet more of you guys, get to know you guys individually.
Yep, definitely, because I remember, I think it was back in February, I just had the podcast as an idea, like a gaming podcast, but locally as an idea, and just get to have gamers and even some cosplayers as well just come out, join us, let's have a chat and talk or whatnot about stuff, games, maybe some anime stuff, which we barely even touch in today's episode and whatnot. But
Rip to Kiss Anime and manga.
oh yeah, Kiss Anime.
Anyways, back to what we were saying.
Rest in peace to Kiss Anime, y'all. Oh man, and I mean, I barely use Kiss Anime unless I'm trying to find something very specific. Because now I'm on Crunchyroll.
I use it for 2 years, 3 years actually.
But yeah, I remember my earlier years. Like I was on Kiss Anime for a while. That site is plagued with ads, but I can understand.
Oh yeah.
Chris says 4 anime gang. Kiss Anime is trash.
I love Chris now. We are now friends.
Oh man, but yeah, like when I didn't have enough money to buy a subscription for
I still don't.
Crunchyroll or I think Hulu, VRV, Funimation, all the other apps and whatnot, Kiss Anime was my go-to.
I still have Verve for my ex, and then I had to delete the account because I didn't want anything involved. And I binge watched a lot of stuff before then.
But then once I got my Crunchyroll Premium, I just never went back to Kiss Anime unless I'm looking for something exclusively specific. Like, I know y'all have it, so I'm gonna get it, download it, and be on my way out. But yeah, man. Shout out to Kiss Anime. Shout out to them, man. Like, rest in peace, y'all.
I binge watched so much stuff.
There's always gonna be another one. It's never over because let's face it, anyone that's trying to watch anime for free, they're gonna find a way.
Oh yeah, like people DM'd me yesterday. I'll shout out some people real quick while I'm here. Shout out to Farah. Shout out to Space Wizard Cosplay. And I think that was it. Shoot. Shout out to those two. There's Devlin as well.
Chris says on Xbox they sometimes call Anime Unlimited Dead.
Yes, I forgot
Anime
about
Unlimited
that.
Dead Unlimited.
I watched Fairy
anime on
Tail.
your Xbox for free.
I watched Fairy Tail and it sucked.
Chris says gotta help my anime homie.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Anyway.
But yeah, there was the anime stuff, and wow,
We caught up.
yeah, I think we're caught up on everything. So yeah, like the podcast started as an idea back in February, and then I said in March, I think I want to go ahead and just implement it and go with it. And I remember you messaged me, like, if you ever need a guest, I was like, you know what? I actually wanted you as my host.
And that's where I'm like, what?
And yeah, like
I was
like,
hyped.
if there's anyone that I would want as a co-host, it's gonna be him.
Yeah,
gonna be Waluigi.
because we met at SuperCon 2019.
Yeah.
And then Otaku Fest. Then Anime EY. And then we got things rolling.
Yeah. Everything just came in full circle.
Definitely grateful for our friendship.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, man, like we're gonna keep going.
Yeah. Got a game on.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going. We will have another guest towards the end of August, and then we just gotta see what next month will bring for us, and who knows what gaming news will happen 2 weeks from now. So definitely excited for the next episode, and like every episode, I'm always excited.
Me too.
And motivated because you just never know what's gonna happen. You never know what we're gonna talk about, but overall, it's always a great experience just to come out to an arcade and just talk about games.
Yeah, definitely brings the nostalgia out of all of us. And all the joy.
Yeah. And Chris says, he did a perfect co-host. Of course, yes, I agree.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, brother.
And Chris, man, I'm gonna let you know right now for those that are currently watching, in November, there's gonna be 8 of us.
Yep.
We're gonna have an 8-man podcast, and it's gonna be
The most chaotic thing we've probably got planned out.
and it's something that we're planning it, and I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be possibly the best episode that we've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8-man podcast.
I am super
8
hyped.
people.
I'm going to bring so much breakfast here. Because I'm going to get hungry. thinking about it.
Same here. Same here. You'll see some returning faces. We haven't announced it yet, but you'll see some returning faces.
Y'all got to stay tuned.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, right now we're gonna wrap things up and call it a day.
Thank y'all so much for viewing. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all so much for coming out, tuning in, and chatting with us. Greatly appreciate y'all for tuning in on episode 10 of the South Florida Gamers podcast. Just recapping on everything and just, talking games amongst us gamers. And you can catch the audio playback of the podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. The video playback will also be available after the podcast on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, where it's currently being streamed at. And 2 weeks from now, we will have episode 11 with another guest. So can't wait for that, man.
Heck yeah. You guys can catch me at UltraCon on the 28th. That's Saturday. I'm going to be going briefly to check it out. Because it's right across the street from my place, and I'm kind of curious to see how far it will go.
Yeah. Because I know there's going to be, certain guests that'll go there, and we have certain cosplayers that you and I are following that are voicing their displeasures of the event because of what's going on, but,
I'm just going because I live right by it. It's a rare opportunity.
It doesn't hurt to see what's going on and whatnot, because some people are still having conventions going on. More power to them, but I'm not going to just be like...
I'm going to make a mask for a cosplay, so I won't have to wear a face mask over my cosplay.
There you go.
Think smart, 3D printing life.
It's just more of a, we'll just wait and see what happens. So, anyway, guys, that is it for episode 10 of the South Florida Gamers podcast. We greatly appreciate you guys. Can't wait to catch you guys on the next one.
Be safe, y'all.
All right. We are offline.
Wow, we ran that through.